The views and opinions expressed on this station do not reflect the owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Wednesday, the 13th day of January, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamel Hartman. She's Carla Zul. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. If you're watching online, share the link. If you're on Facebook, start a watch party. If you're on Twitter, retweet it. Just get the conversation out there to your network. And don't forget to like and engage. Another good one, as we have John Huff from the Association of Bermuda Insurers and Reinsurers, better known as ABIR, along with Craig Simmons from Bermuda College. Very good conversation coming up today. The Daily Play is a say it, please don't sing it, Carla. So, yes, it is Wacky Wednesday, way back Wednesday, whatever, hump day, however you want to call it. That's what it is today. But we have a lot to cover today, Carla. And actually, I woke up and you actually made me late for my jog this morning. Yeah, you, Carla.
Me?
Yeah,
I was sleeping when you were jogging, so I don't see how that's possible.
Well, when I was getting up and getting ready, true story. One thing I try not to do, folks, is I try not to begin my day on social media. This is the first part of social media I want to do. But with all that's happened in the world, probably in the first week of this year, I've gone on Twitter and I saw a tweet by you. And it was regarding some way that your daughter was dressed yesterday, and someone said she was dressed inappropriate. Like,
kill us.
Tell me about this. Tell me about this real quickly.
So she's in Bermuda. I'm in the UK, and she was going to lunch with her cousin, and she hit me up, and she was like, "Mommy, this lady approached me at lunch and told me to put on a jacket and dress appropriately, something to that effect." So I'm like, "What?" She said she had on a shirt, and she sent me a picture of the shirt, and it was a shirt, but it had little cutouts, so a little glimpse of the place where your breasts and your chest touch. It was a little part of that. Mm-hmm. And she sent me a picture, and she said the ladies, my daughter couldn't see her, but she tapped my niece and said, "Call her." She said, "Ask her to cover up because my son is looking." And her son, my daughter said he looked like he could be autistic, perhaps maybe about 14, 15. My daughter's 19. And she said, I put on my jacket because she's not vocal like me. So she said she just put on her jacket or whatever, but she was really offended. And I was like, what? If you were with me, I would have said, no, she's not covering up anything. She had no breast showing. It's just like what they call a peephole. And I just thought that was I get it if the lady had a special needs son. However, I think people need to stop sexualizing people and thinking that if you look a certain way or you have on a certain attire, that gives someone the right to look or oogle or be offended. And it wasn't nudity. So
interesting. I came across it, and I was just, it was interesting because I know growing up back in the 90s, that was something like, you know, how Bermuda was like, someone, an older person, an adult would say something like that to a young person. But the way the world has evolved, I highly doubt it that would be considered still the norm. Like you would go to someone you don't know and say something like that, whether you agree or not. So very interesting there. And
did you see the responses though? Because I posted it, I went to sleep, I woke up some morning, and I was quite surprised by the responses. They were good responses, but I was surprised it got that much engagement. So I think women of today aren't having it.
Interesting. Well, I mean, look, you know, it could have been very different if Carla was there. We might be sending us money for cigarettes and canteen money if she was there. But
I don't smoke, Jamal. Drops.
When you go to prison, you do some things that you never did before. I wouldn't know that. But no, I want to get to the question of the day. Anyone, you saw the press conference last night with the Premier and the Minister of Health, and I think Dr. Karika Weldon was present as well. Yes, she was present.
And Dr. Armstrong, I believe. I've never seen her before.
I hadn't either, but I did watch it, and the audio did cut out, but it did not cut out before our most entertaining photojournalist, reporter, Trevor Lindsay, got his questions off last evening. And so that leads to the question of the morning, folks. The question of the morning. And actually, let me just play the audio for you real quickly so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. All right. So give me let's get the audio up. All right, let's go.
It seems that here in Bermuda, we have a history of concealing information that should be public knowledge. Should the country know if you yourself or the health minister or other public figures test positive for the coronavirus?
All right. So my question before we get to the Premier David Burt's response to that, right? The question for you, the audience this morning, is should the health/medical records of politicians be accessible to the public? I'm not going to share anymore. I want to get your opinion, whether you believe the health medical records of politicians should be accessible to the public in Bermuda. What are your thoughts, Carla?
The only word I have a problem with in that sentence is should. The answer is no. However, I think in this case, because I did hear, but in a context like Trevor was saying with other world leaders, I think in the respect of transparency, in this case, if he was to have contracted coronavirus or one of the ministers, I think that they should share that. I think it's an obligation to share that. But medical records, period, I'm looking at it broadly, no.
Okay. It's interesting. Robert Durham says, I agree with Trevor. And here it is. It happens all over the world. And I see Camille Burgess says, hell no. I'm just going to say, hell yes. Absolutely, the records of public officials should be made public. If you're running for office to represent the public, that is something that you give up. The people need to know your mental state. They need to know your physical state. In most countries, we can't continue to believe we're this advanced country and we're ahead. Truthfully, probably we're not. We can't believe that if you can be subject to, let's be honest, and this is not discrimination in my opinion. At the end of the day, you need people that are able to do certain jobs. It's not just public, but the difference between choosing to be a public official through politics, it's a choice. So I totally agree that public health officials and medical, I remember back when we had a certain premier and someone was in my ear at the time and saying, if this was another country, this person probably would not be the leader. And I disagreed then, and I probably disagree now because of their reasoning. But the reasoning was the leader should be able to pass a physical test. Now, keep in mind, a physical test does not mean looking a certain way or being able to go out there and run a marathon. A physical test means just simple physical, being able to do the job beyond certain, like if someone has to take leave, they're not able to do it, then are they really running the country? I think a lot of the responses we're going to get today represent conservative Bermuda, and conservative Bermuda is not who Bermudians believe they are. So I think it's going to be a harsh reality check in the responses we get from that question.
But do we need to know if the premier has a bout of gonorrhea? Like, I know that's being dramatic, but I mean, that's all a part of a medical record. I think where it's contextual, yeah. So you brought up about the mental well-being. If a potential candidate has I don't want to malign anyone, but a mental disorder that could perhaps affect their performance, they should be transparent. But I think it should be contextual to, so in this case, coronavirus. But I did hear Premier Burt say he volunteered. No, I've never tested positive. So in that context, yes, but not everything. I'm not for that.
So and again, you're relatively a conservative person by thought. So your response does not surprise me, nor would the majority of responses. I expect no's. What I'm saying is that understand why you're saying no. It's Bermuda is not an advanced state in reference to this. It's not. And I get that. I completely get that. What I'm saying is in 10 years, right? In 10 years, I think a lot of people will look back and say, man, we are far behind. The public records and health records of public officials should be made public. And this is why. Because if, and you, I'm going to use you, and I hate you use this, but I would have used something like heart disease or something, but let's use the term you used, right? That can affect someone's ability to do their job, depending on what stage it's at. So if it affects the ability for a public official to do their job, yes, their health, and I keep saying health medical because it could be mental. You know, I think about what you have to go through when, like, I'm a U.S. resident, the amount of the physical tests that I have to go through, right? Now, that has to be, it's obviously pretty much public because I couldn't be here if I didn't go through those rigorous tests, right? So my employer knows my state is okay, right? I'm just under the and I'll get to the audience. Obviously, we're asking this for you. I just feel like this is one of those answers that, because of traditional conservative Bermuda, the answer is going to be no. I do believe in 5 to 10 years, like many other things in Bermuda, the same way we were against gaming, the same way we've been against marijuana, the same way we were highly against the ending of conscription. This is another thing, because as these situations arise, not saying it's going to be another pandemic, but as more things come about, people are going to say, we want access to these type of things. And I think Bermuda is probably 50 years behind most other jurisdictions in terms of the public records of their officials being made public.
Review.
So I'm not disagreeing with people. I want you to know that. I'm just saying I expect the answers. I just feel like it's something that would evolve over time. James Birchcaller.
In general, no. If there's something that could affect their judgment, maybe someone should be able to know.
Yeah. Jonathan Butterfield says, no, it's private and confidential unless he wants to reveal it. It is private and confidential when you're not serving the public, when you're not there to do a public service. At the end of the day, if you choose to take up a public position, then the public literally should have access to pretty much more than you might want to give up. Jamaica Smith says, I keep hearing in this press conference that medical records are confidential. It would be up to the individual to disclose. Yes, I think that's what, and the premier did, just to be clear, he did say, no, he hasn't tested, because I think he felt that's where the reporter was going. Astor Earl Trott says, I don't think so. It is personal. Camille Burgess says, just in case you're not following protocol, they put it in place. In the case of premier or governor, in my humble opinion. So I guess you're saying if it's the top person official in the country, yes. Carl.
Kelly saying, I don't think they have to give detailed information. If you can generalize this information by saying they are medically healthy to run a country, but I do agree there is a certain amount of information the public should have.
Linda Bell says, I agree to your statement, Carla. Only if he has a mental state he cannot handle the job. And then James Birch, closing it out, says, the only thing that might be possible with public officials right now in Bermuda being made available to separate pillar of government to know and be able to do something if there is a problem. Definitely, it's a good, I will say it was a good question by Trevor to ask. Obviously, Bermuda's not in the same space as a larger nation where they have these expectations, whether it be Boris Johnson in the UK, the French Prime Minister, or even the President of the United States. At the end of the day, politicians can tell you what they want you to believe, and you're going to run with it, as we've seen recently anyway. Maria Seaman says, it is strategically given to gain the trust and confidence of people. And that's it right there. I mean, it's not necessarily something that most of these nations probably have written in law. It's literally just given to let people know you can trust me to do the job. When you're reluctant, then people are going to start wondering and believing and thinking a bit differently. Sean Smith, are you saying anybody that run for public office? Yeah, I am. Yeah, absolutely. I think when you make a decision to run for public office, you do give up a lot. You do. It's like what. And I don't like the comparison public and celebrity, because the term celebrity, I mean, anybody could be a celebrity with the internet nowadays. A celebrity gives up a lot of their private life. The paparazzi is going to be there. You can't even go to the beach by yourself and just enjoy your family. So you do give up a lot when you take on public roles. So that's the point. It's a tough one because morality comes in there. Do people should they be giving up so much when they are, taking up public office? I would probably say what Dr. Maria Seaman said, that it's more or less they do it to give confidence and build trust with the people that, hey, you know what? I'm fit to do the job. I had a mental exam, a physical exam, and here are my results. Whether or not it should, I do believe it should, but I totally get people who say it shouldn't. Like, you shouldn't, there are some things that should be left to
private.
Yeah.
But contextually, I think, for example, all the government ministers, for example, should be tested for COVID, and their results should be made public to show the public that, hey, I am abiding and doing all that I've asked of you to do myself. I can get it in that context, but some other stuff, no.
Sheldon Eugene Fox too. I'm just going to say this here. In reference to Mr. Fox, this includes people like him in the Bermuda Regiment. How about the public officers they are serving the country as well? Yes. Police and regiment, absolutely. And the reason I say so is what you witnessed in the DC capital of the United States last week. Yes, we should have, especially their mental health records, we should have access to. We should if we're relying on you to protect and guard us, then yes, we should have access to every last one of your mental records. On that note, we're going to take a news break. Carl is going to update us, let us know what's going on, and then we're going to pay some bills and come back. Big Poppy, I'm happy about the conversation today because we talk about all that's gone wrong over the last 12 months. Well, there's some opportunities coming for Bermudians, and you don't want to miss this conversation. Carl, are you ready for the news?
Yep.
I'm not, so give me a second.
A $1 billion data and software company that moved staff to Bermuda as digital nomads last year has an ambition to increase its presence to 1,000 staff on the island within 5 years. If all goes to plan, Affinity could account for 10% of Bermuda's gross domestic product by the middle of the decade. According to the World Gazette, the company, which has a focus on artificial intelligence, has decided to make a major commitment to the island. Other destinations, including the US and Canada, were considered, but Affinity, which has been incorporated on the island since 2011, chose Bermuda. Beginning January 26, the CDC will require all people who plan to enter the US on a commercial flight to show proof of a negative COVID-19 test prior to boarding. Variants of the SARS-CoV-2 virus continue to emerge in countries around the world, and there is evidence of increased transmissibility of some of these variants, the agency said late yesterday. With the U.S. already in surge status, the testing requirement for air passengers will help slow the spread of the virus as we work to vaccinate the American public. Air passengers will be required to get tested within 3 days of their flight to the U.S. or otherwise provide documentation of having recovered from COVID-19. Airlines will be required to deny boarding to any person who does not provide the required documentation. Lisa Montgomery became the first woman executed by the U.S. federal government in 67 years early this morning. Montgomery, 52, was executed by legal injection at the U.S. Penitentiary in Terre Haute, Indiana. Her time of death was 1:31 a.m., 7.5 hours after her originally scheduled time of execution, according to the Associated Press. In 2004, Montgomery drove from her Melbourne Canvas Kansas farmhouse to the northern Missouri town of Skidmore under the guise of adopting a puppy from Bobby Joe Stinnett, a 23-year-old dog breeder. She strangled Stinnett with a rope before performing a crude cesarean and fleeing with the baby. On Christmas Eve last year, Montgomery's lawyers asked President Trump to commute her death to a life in prison sentence without parole. January 13th is Make Your Dreams Come True Day. There are some people who chase their dreams every day. There are others who find it hard to do so. No matter what category you fall into, or if you are somewhat in the middle, Make Your Dreams Come True Day gives you the push you need to chase your dreams and make them a reality. The absolute best way to celebrate Make Your Dream Come True Day is to, of course, think of a dream you've been dreaming for a while and then find a way to make it come true. Turning to weather, the high temperature in Bermuda is expected to reach 70. Miami will see a high of 74, and Leeds, UK will see a high of 37. And on a programming note, don't forget to tune in to the full100radio.com tonight for Nighttime Jams, featuring some of your favorite romantic classics. That's your Daily Hour news break.
Did you say it's Make Your Dream Come True Day?
Yep.
That's an awesome day to have. I mean, look, there is legit a day for everything, but I'm looking forward to it because I think the conversation we're about to have with John Huff and Craig Simmons is about to help make some dreams come true with this new opportunity at Bermuda College. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with these two gentlemen. So, hey, call a friend, tell them, tune in now.
Good day, Medical House Doris speaking. Can I help you?
Medical House is Bermuda's leading one-stop shop for healthcare.
Medical House is a great resource for Lefroy. The service is excellent.
Medical House is best known for its uniforms and footwear. It has hundreds of styles of scrubs and nurses' uniforms for health professionals. Bermuda's top doctors, dentists, care homes, and the hospital choose Medical House for a wide range of products. These same professional quality products are available to you for home health care.
The biggest reason to come see us is that we specialize in these areas and the education and knowledge that we provide.
Medical House is on Millreach Lane in Pembroke, where there's private parking right outside the door. Call or visit Medical House today.
Perrier water has been renowned worldwide for over a century and a half. Collected from a pristine ancient mineral water spring in the south of France, originally bottled in a distinctive green pear-shaped bottle, and distributed in Bermuda by John Barry & Son Limited, our foremost beverage distributor, refreshing Perrier is the champagne of mineral waters. Try Perrier water in bold, natural fruit flavors with no added sugar and 0 calories. This month, we're featuring peach, strawberry, watermelon, orange, pink grapefruit, lime, cucumber, and regular Perrier water in cans. Lindos, why go anyplace else?
All right, and welcome back to The Big Show, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Linders, and our friends over at Channel 82, where you can also watch this and many other locally produced shows if you have One Communications cable. Don't forget, I just want to thank everyone who continues to tune in on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We appreciate you. Keep pushing, keep sharing, and keep engaging with us. We would not be able to do this every morning without you. All right, without further ado, let's bring in our guests for the day, Mr. John Huff from ABIR and Craig Simmons from Bermuda College. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jamel.
No problem, no problem. Mr. Simmons, your second time around, so definitely appreciate you getting up early to join us. And Mr. Huff, hopefully it's not your last time either, but let's get right into the conversation. Before we jump into why you're here, just speak to those who may not know about the Association of Bermuda Insurers, Reinsurers, and why it partnered with Bermuda College for this 14-week insurance course.
Sure, I'll kick off. So the Association of Bermuda Insurers and Reinsurers are the leading companies in Bermuda, international companies, if you will, that do business in 150 countries. They're very committed to Bermuda, and they keep the economy going in Bermuda as well. They contributed about $830 million last year to the Bermuda economy, and they're committed to the recruitment of Bermudians of their workforce. So their companies have about 72% of their employees that are Bermudian or spouses of Bermudians or holders of PRCs, and they'd like to increase that number. And one way to do that is to build the pipeline of the future talent. And so the strategic partnership between ABIR, Bermuda College, and St. John's University is intended to kickstart that effort.
Indeed, indeed. Mr. Simmons, you'll be the instructor for the course. Facilitator, sorry. I'm sorry, I saw instructor somewhere. Facilitator for the course that includes a virtual lecture series starting on January 18th. Why do you believe such a course was necessary right now?
Well, there are a couple of things. The hospitality sector is pretty much fallen flat on its face because of COVID. And so we in Bermuda are relying more than ever on international business and reinsurance in particular. So it's like a walking stick. Most of us can understand how a walking stick can keep a senior upright, but our walking stick right now arguably is reinsurance. And so I think it's important for Bermuda residents to understand how the reinsurance sector operates in Bermuda, how it supports Bermuda, how, as John said, we can sort of open up that pipeline, shine some light on the pipeline so that we can recruit new talent for the reinsurance industry. Over the years, the reinsurance industry has done a lot of work trying to recruit. If you take a quick read of Kathy Duffy's book, Held Captive, in the middle, there are a bunch of pictures. That book was published in, I think, around 2004. When I look at the pictures of the students who were at the beginning of the pipeline in 2004, just about every single one of those students is now in middle or upper management in reinsurance. And here's the other point in terms of diversity. Most of those students that were in that picture were Bermuda College students. They were Black folks. And so we want more diversity in the industry, and we need to attract Bermudians. And I think the reinsurance industry is doing a good job of attracting people. And so this course is designed to get the information out about the different sectors that are on island. Essentially, you've got these reinsurance factories producing insurance products, and our people need to know about these factories, the details of the factory, so that they can get the skills that are necessary to participate in a meaningful way in reinsurance.
That leads right into my question, because I saw in the press release, it said the main objective of the partnership is to develop and encourage diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in the talent development pipeline. So my question is there an underrepresentation, whether it be by gender or by race in Bermuda in this industry?
Shall I take on that, John?
Sure. If you want to start, I'm happy to build on your comments.
Yeah, I think that's the case. I mean, I listened to the dive-in webinar this summer, and it was made pretty clear that we need more diversity in the sector. I don't think that should come as any surprise to folks. It's really about what are we going to do now to sort of address it. Now, this is not the first time I think international business or reinsurance has recognized the lack of diversity. It just takes a long time. I mean, we want Bermuda to sort of get into the World Cup. We've been trying to do that. And it's difficult because you need talent. And we Bermudians, well, we need to work very hard to get the talent necessary to operate in this industry, because working in reinsurance in Bermuda is like going to the World Cup. These reinsurance companies are competing against the best and the brightest on the planet. So you can't have someone like me who's not so smart in the reinsurance industry. You need the best and the brightest. And I think ABIR is doing its due diligence in trying to get the best and the brightest, getting people into internships so that they can show their stuff. So I think this is a continuation of what ABIR has been doing for quite some time.
And I would just build on that, that the globally, financial services can always do better in recruitment, particularly with diversity, equity, and inclusion. So Bermuda is actually ahead of the curve in that regard, just by the very nature of the population of our island. It helps in that recruitment, and just the small nature where people know each other, and it makes for easier way to communicate and to recruit. But the beauty of this course is it's open not just to Bermuda College students, it's open to the community. So just by going to the website at college.bm, folks can register and just audit the course, if you will, and then have the opportunity to meet some of the local community leaders, but also some of the insurance and reinsurance executives.
Now, being a bit personal, my 19-year-old, she wants to do this course. She's keen to do it. But here's a question. She doesn't attend the Bermuda College, but she wants to do it for college credit. Is that possible?
Well, if she doesn't attend Bermuda College, she'll probably have to coordinate with the school she does go to work out the credit. But certainly she should sign up and start the course and then work through into the college credit aspects. If she doesn't attend Bermuda College, the course is free, and she can sign up and start the course next Monday, January 18th. And we have two great speakers on next Monday. Minister Dickinson will talk about the economic impact of the insurance and reinsurance industry. And the chair of ABIR this year, Mark Grandison, who's the global CEO of Arch Capital right here in Bermuda, he will also be speaking at the course.
Now, when I hear insurance or reinsurance, I hear math. Now, I'm an English person. I hear math, right? So is it safe to assume that one interested in this industry must have a solid math background, or what is the academic background as such that would be ideal for a person who's looking to enter the industry?
Certainly there are actuaries involved in the insurance and reinsurance industry, and that's a very heavy math capability. But the insurance and reinsurance industry works with all kinds of folks of background. I'm certainly not with a math background. I'm an attorney by training, and I lead the trade group. So there's all sorts of disciplines, from communications to HR to underwriting. If you think about all the disciplines or lines of business, whether that be property and natural catastrophe, which may have a little bit more science and the what's going on in the weather, or political risk, what's going on in the world as a political risk underwriter that may create risk. So there's all sorts of disciplines that could be supportive of the industry.
And I might add that there's the direct impact. So they need the actuaries, the accountants, and the lawyers. There's the indirect effect. International business, reinsurance people love to eat in restaurants. They do a lot of catering. And then there's the induced effect. People they have pets, dog walkers, kids go to schools. So enrollments in schools are up. So it's like, I liken it to throwing a pebble into Warwick Pond. When that pebble hits the pond, it creates a wave. And this is, I think, the way tourism works in Bermuda. This is the way reinsurance works in Bermuda. The money is coming in, it's injected into our local economy, and it creates a wave of spending and opportunity. And so that's really how Bermuda is able to sort of maintain its standard of living.
I heard you just mention accountants and different positions. What opportunities can people who take this course expect after completion? But also speak about the different careers in more depth in the reinsurance and international business areas. Like, it's not just the math-based. You can have HR roles and other roles. If one of you can speak to that.
Well, I'll kick off. So part of the course, the strategy of the course is to introduce the industry to a very wide section of students that might be interested in entering it, but may not know what reinsurance is, for example. Let's teach some foundational building blocks, and knowing that reinsurance is nothing more than insurance for insurance companies. Think about all the different insurance products, again, that create jobs for people to work at these companies. So we will have a robust internship program, a summer internship program. We have traditionally had that from our member companies in Bermuda. We hope that people kickstart that because of the coronavirus. It's harder to do those internships virtually. But I think some will be probably a blend of virtual and in person. So the career opportunities, you can just imagine all of the different lines of business, but more importantly, just the disciplines, whether that be underwriting, even support on the IT function. So it has just a few months ago where all of our industry went to a virtual environment. So you can imagine the IT support just for our industry that was necessary to do that.
Mr. Simmons, anything to add there?
Yeah, well, I actually wanted to get on to sort of the nuts and bolts of the course. It is happening on Monday evenings. It starts at 6. It will run for approximately sort of 2.5 hours. There's sort of 2 streams to the course. There's the for credit stream, and there's the not for credit stream. In the credit stream, you'll be expected to do weekly assignments. The presenters from the insurance industry will come in, talk about their particular area, giving sort of a deep dive into what exactly is involved in, say, life insurance, or what's involved in collateralized insurance, and so on. And so that, I think, is going to be an eye opener for the attendees, because it's to my thinking, it's the first time that the local population will be exposed to how exactly the insurance industry functions in Bermuda. So I think for me, at least, it's going to be a learning experience. And so I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to be as much a student as anyone else. And that's why I use the word facilitate. I would encourage Bermudians to join in, because there is no downside. There's all upside, and we're attracting leaders in the industry, not junior people, but senior people in the industry. That's very important. So you're going to be able to go deep into each line of business that's represented on the island.
Well, regarding that, I just want to ask you about the course. How much time should one plan to put into this? Like, let's say someone has a full-time job and they are doing the parenting, and I don't want to say parenting, but the parent-teacher thing at home. How much time do you believe they should put aside if they plan to sign up?
If you're doing the course for credit, there's the obvious, sign in at 6, and we should be done by about 8:30. But there's also the assignment. I'm going to ask people for the reflections on what happened on any given night. And so there'll be, 14 different written assignments, and that's going to take some time. I don't expect people to put in the kind of time that I'm putting in. I mean, right now, this is sort of my life. Since sort of John twisted my arm to do this back in October, my life has been consumed with getting up to speed with international insurance. So I'm not expecting people to do that, but it will require a commitment. This is a sophomore college level course. Yeah, and you need to say that again. It's a sophomore college level course for credit. So it's not something where you sort of dally in and just sort of lay off and just listen. It's going to require effort. There will be reading. So I don't know if I can make it any clearer that this is a sophomore level course. It will require effort from people who are doing it for credit. Now, if you're not doing it for credit, you can just attend the presentations and get what you need and get on with your life.
Carla, you had a question?
That was exactly my question. How intense was it going to be? And, so you actually answered. Thank you, Mr. Simmons.
All right. Slavrock says, Mr. Simmons, is there room for local insurance professionals to supplement the course with presentations relevant to Bermuda?
That'll be a question, I think, for Mr. Huff.
Well, certainly there'll be presentations on a variety of different topics, and we're still finalizing the schedule, so happy to take any additional ideas. We just had a call, for instance, with the presenters on a presentation on climate risk, which is, such a significant topic globally, but also is big for Bermuda. So topics like that would be a perfect example that somebody from the community may just want to sign up even just for one session to learn more about what's going on in that space.
All righty.
I do actually, I'm sorry, Jamal, for cost, gentlemen. So if I'm correct, I read it's $465 if you're doing it as a credit course or free if you're auditing it. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
Kathy Brumby asking, is this a prerequisite for further studies for LIA or CPE or AC2? Anyone?
So for the CPCU, it is not a prerequisite for that testing, that designation.
Okay. All right.
I should add that if you're doing the course for credit, there is the prerequisite of freshman level English.
Okay.
Because of the writing demands for the course, we want to be sure that we're not setting people up for failure. So because it's a sophomore level course, because of the workload, we want people to have at least freshman level English.
Rosalind Famous says, are there ways to start a pipeline of high school students?
We're very hopeful that high school students sign up for this. That's really the age we want to get people interested even before they get into college. Again, their registration would be complimentary. It'd be free for them to audit the courses. And I think they'll find some of the topics very interesting. Again, like climate, what's going on in the world. And if you think about insurance generally, insurance responds to the risk of the world. So you can rip the headlines from any newspaper, and there's an insurance issue in each headline.
Okay.
One component of the program as such is that there are opportunities for either internships and or scholarships. Is that only for the students that do the course track, or is that opportunity for those who audit it as well?
The opportunities would be open for both. I think people will have an upper hand if they've gone through a college course like this one, but it could be for the audit or for the credit. We encourage people to get their college degrees. It's sort of the ticket for entry for most positions in professional organizations. But again, those opportunities will be open.
Teresa Stewart says, I'm definitely going to sign up to audit the course and gain knowledge. Are the lectures made available for later review by those who audition the course?
Well, I've got some great news. Yes, the lectures will be recorded. They'll be posted to YouTube. So if you happen to, have a problem on a particular Monday night, you can always go and look at the recording of a particular session.
Charles H. Jeffers too says, what follow-up will the association be doing for those high school students who audit the course?
Well, certainly we want to keep them engaged, so we'll make sure that they're communicated with as a stakeholder of ABIR, but also to encourage them to make application for summer internships and to consider where they're going to further their education. This is a strategic partnership between ABIR, Bermuda College, and St. John's University in New York. So there is a component that will come after the course of a pilot program of helping students continue professional risk management degrees at St. John's University. So it is multifaceted, but this foundational course is the first step.
Camille Burgess asks, if someone wants to take this course but has a MSBU class during this course, will this be offered again?
We hope so.
Yeah, I think we're at the point. Let's get through this one and see how it goes, and then we'll revisit if need be. But definitely, I think a lot of people are inspired by the opportunity. Last year, I think it was reported that, I mean, I don't remember the exact number. I kept up with it as there was an election coming up, but there were hundreds and hundreds of jobs that were lost, as I believe Mr. Simmons mentioned earlier, in the tourism and hospitality industry. What kind of people do you believe can transition into this? Because there are people, and I'm going to use myself as an example. I remember when, I don't consider myself academically inclined. So when I was going to do my MBA, I was always timid that I wouldn't finish it. And I know there's people like me who, I think Carla mentioned earlier, look at reinsurance and insurance as this math thing, and I've never been good at math. But what can you do to inspire people to say, you know what, just sign up? You never know what can come out of it. Because I'm telling you, I'm interested, but I'm a bit timid. Like, I don't know, it's time consuming one, and then I'm just not that student.
Most of us do well at things we're really interested in. So that's the beauty of this course. People can audit the course and find the topic that interests them most, and that what will build your passion of where you want to go with your career. So again, it may be climate, it may be reinsurance, it may be economics, or something that's in the support role for one of these companies. But there are many opportunities in Bermuda, and this is a good way to learn about those opportunities.
And Jamal, no one in the course will be more intimidated than me. I've never done an insurance course in my life. This time last year, my understanding of insurance was very, very, very small. And so it's been a steep learning curve for me, but that's a part of the excitement. Yeah, I'm putting myself out there, I'm taking a risk, but great rewards come from great risks. And I want to emphasize that, just throw your hat into the ring and you will be absolutely surprised and impressed with yourself at the end of it. You have nothing. There is no downside to signing up for this course for credit. Absolutely none. What else are you going to do on a Monday night? I don't know what's coming on TV, television. But I mean, and plus it's going to be recorded. So, we really are running out of excuses. Do it. Sign up. And the good news is there are a lot of people signing up. Yeah.
When's the deadline?
I would say, there isn't one really.
I just want to add to what you were saying. Though I was timid, I still went and did it because I have a desire. I have this desire to prove myself wrong. And so I would say to anyone who is timid, if you can use me as an example, please do, because you might get in there. And I think what you just said was something that really worked for me, is focus on those communications courses and the courses you enjoy. And then I'm proud to say this at this point, I got tutoring all throughout my MBA, right? Or finance and accounting courses. So if you need additional help, I'm sure it will be there. So I would encourage people. To me, this is an opportunity that is I don't want to say comes once in a lifetime, but you just heard when they were asked, will they be doing it again? Well, jump on it now, because there's no telling if it will come or when it will come. So I'm grateful for the opportunity for you guys to offer something like this. One last thing, where can people go right now to find more information?
www.college.bm. That'll take you to the main page. Scroll down the left, you'll see something about ABIR reinsurance opportunity. And then there's a hyperlink that says learn more. Click onto that, and the world is your oyster.
One more question. I think this, but I'll let you answer it. Is the course available online like Zoom? If not, why not?
Oh, excellent. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Boy,
it's all virtual.
Yeah. On Zoom.
Mhm.
I thought you mentioned that earlier. That's why I was.
No, but I mean, we can't overemphasize this. Yes, it's offered remotely through Zoom.
Okay. All right. Gentlemen, honestly, thank you so much for the conversation. Is there anything, last thing you'd like to say that we didn't cover before we let you go?
I want to thank our Bermuda insurance and reinsurance executives. They are so energized by the opportunity of this course. And to your point about it being on Zoom, that's allowed us to schedule some people that just wouldn't be able to do it if it was in person. So we're going to have some great international leaders. And if you haven't met Kathy Duffy, who's a proud Bermudian and one of our local CEOs, we're really looking forward to her session as well.
All righty. Anything, Mr. Simmons?
Well, what I've been impressed with is the ease with which we've been able to attract people to present. You would have thought you got to, beg and scrape to get folks to participate, to present. But that hasn't been the case. I mean, these folks are juiced. They are ready to sort of give the information out there. I've been really impressed with the contribution, the time, the energy that the presenters are willing to put out there. Impressive. And I think Bermudians need to take advantage of the situation. Don't wait until the next time. Now's the time.
Mr. Craig Simmons, Bermuda College, John from ABIR, Bermuda, thank you so much for joining us. You are welcome back to update us and have conversation with us and our audience anytime. Appreciate you both much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You're welcome. All righty. Great conversation there. Boy, I honestly, you got me thinking. I wish I did have the time because I would challenge myself to do it, but I do encourage people to do it. I'd love to hear some stories. And I always talk about 10 years from now, as Mr. Simmons mentioned, years later, a lot of these students that went to Bermuda College are now in the industry. So would love to see that. We're going to take a quick break, though. We're going to come back with the Daily Play, some inspiration, and just a recap of today's show. Sorry we were not able to get to all of the comments, but we'll try to go through them during the recap after this.
Bermuda, do you know the difference between internet and Wi-Fi? Don't worry, neither did I. Let me break it down to you. Internet is delivered to your modem, which then has to push the Wi-Fi signal into the rest of your home. Do you find that the further you're away from your modem, the weaker your Wi-Fi signal gets? That's because Bermuda's homes are built hurricane tough. It's really difficult for that Wi-Fi signal to reach every room. But you're in luck. Our One Home Wi-Fi solution guarantees Wi-Fi coverage in and around your home with the help of our Eero devices. Plug in the Eero around your home and it will create a mesh Wi-Fi network in every room. Check us out at One today to sign up and make sure you can stream, work, and play from every corner of your home.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Carla there, Jamal here. If you enjoyed that conversation, show some love. Let's get some love, some likes, some engagement. Share it. Let us know. Carla, what are your thoughts on today's episode?
Well, it was kind of selfish because my daughter wants to do it, so I thought it was awesome. So selfish meaning grabbing all that information. She's gonna do it from out here in the UK, and she's keen, and she wants to do the credit course. So support her. I'm happy. It's not my cup of tea, I'm a creative, right? But I respect that industry. So if one of us could be in it, we'll still be rich.
Yeah, I just hope. Here's my thing, and I think there were so many comments I didn't get to all. This right here really stood out to me. Come on now, best and brightest. Some of the people that come here from other countries to work in IB are neither best nor brightest. Best and bright is not the standard international business used when bringing people to Bermuda, and we shouldn't put that qualifying expectation on our own people. IB often require different educational expectation of locals than they do of international applicants. They also give a different remuneration package to international applicants, despite how, and Nikki, you know this is StreamYard, we don't get all of that. So I get your point though. And let me just add to what Nick is saying. I think we see that especially in the hospitality industry, Nikki, and IB industry. We have to work that much harder. We have to have greater what's it called? Qualifications than others. So I agree. It's disgusting. I would like to see more Bermudians in positions. I actually am disgusted with the government from that respect, because when they're opposition, they complain about non-Bermudians being in positions, but when they get empowered, they kind of do the same thing. Like it's almost like, well, what was it all about before? So I get it. And this is not, oh, I hate non-Bermudian. It's not that. It's just that, what do Bermudians have to do to get ahead in certain industries? That, I think, is the question. So I believe that the best people should get the positions. But why are the best people never people who have worked so hard for years? Why are they never Bermudians? So I get it. I understand. And hopefully things like this will bring about the changes that we want to see. Carla, I think, well, to answer Rosalind, I think we kind of did do a show on this before. I think we did touch on
when we did the statistics.
Yeah, but she wasn't, Rosalind didn't like us back then. See, Carla?
She was on, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Like,
she didn't like us back then. No, let's get to the daily play, and then we'll get to the motivational thought of the day. Daily playtime, everyone, it's music today. So Carla is guessing the lyrics to a song. Here we go. Quote, "You see, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate." End quote.
Marvin Gaye is that song. War is not the answer.
Check Carla. Check Carla.
I was born in the 70s, boys. You listened to this growing up. Don't ask me what it's called.
Where's your scorekeeper? I'm gonna give you props. I'm just happy you got the song.
Brother. Yep.
And you got the artist. But this is a miracle. Carla got it one time.
Jamal, listen. Someone called me yesterday. I was like, does he have to hate on you every single day with this daily play?
It's no, I try to help you. I
tell her, don't let her heart be troubled. I got this.
I tried to give Carla the answers like yesterday. I emphasized 2019, and she still said a 2020 date, folks.
Oh, I got told off for that too.
I went back and looked, and I'm like, how did I emphasize the answer? And she's, well, yeah. But Carla, you your scorekeeper doesn't seem like he's keeping score today, but I think you are getting better percentage wise.
He's doing weekly because he started over on Monday. We need an overall thing, but I am 1 for 3 today. Well, 1 for 1.5 because I got a half yesterday.
All right,
I'm taking it.
Folks, if you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. If you're on Facebook, give us a like. If you're on Twitter, make sure you retweet this episode. Another good one for you. Carla, you got some inspiration for us?
Being happy doesn't mean that everything is perfect. It simply means that you've decided to look beyond the imperfections. Wiz Khalifa.
Check, you got rappers in the house now. You know, some of the best poets there, right? Go back to Tupac. Hey, we have a great show coming up tomorrow. They've been on the Billboard charts. We have Last Call, Tracray Aswood, part of the duo. What's his partner name, Carla? Test for you.
I could picture his handsome face, but I have no idea what his name is. I could picture his face as Clarice Day. Just the really good singer, one of the 2 really good singers who will be my backup singers tomorrow on the Daily Hour. Oh, what is his name? I could picture.
No. Hold on. We're not trying to scare guests. His name Adrian, Carla, by the way. Adrian.
Adrian, my apologies.
But we're not trying to scare guests from the show. We don't want you to do that, Carla.
Watch. So I'm gonna ask them like, come on, boys, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
And they're gonna be harmonizing. La 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 la.
I have a headache already.
Lord.
I have a headache already. My goodness. Carla, I just wanted to send condolences to one of our consistent viewers and listeners to Evelyn Pitt. So condolences to her and her family for their loss. I know she is a very consistent viewer and supporter of this show, and just know that she's in our thoughts before we head off for today. Any final words from you?
I really enjoyed the information, and I hope that people take advantage of this opportunity to get some exposure in that industry. And have a beautiful day, everyone. And hi, Granny Jones.
All right.
She watches on Channel 82.
All right. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, and Linda's, for making sure that we're able to do this with you every day. As always, we appreciate you. We love you. And we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Carla Zul. I'm Jamel Hartman. Make it a good day.